is a map of Mexico. But before, it used to look really different. Many countries wanted to seek independence from this very big country, which was even bigger in the past. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 different countries that gained independence from Mexico in the past. Some of them lost their independence, while others kept their independence until a later time. Here's the thing. None of them ever stayed. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's do this north to south. First, let's do the California Republic. This was a short-lived republic of 33 American settlers who settled there illegally during the Mexican-American War. This was a very tense moment between the two countries, and essentially the goal of this republic was to just anger and weaken the Mexican army against the Americans. It consisted of one state, Alta California, which today consists of California, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and parts of Colorado. Soon they built up a massive army, which is why they were able to stay independent for so long. The country officially dissolved and joined the USA when the Americans finally won the Mexican-American War. The land won by the Americans was mainly this and Texas. Speaking of which, that's the next state, Texas. The Texas Republic was a very, very, very strong republic with a great history and the main cause of the American Civil War. It's probably one of the states that you'll probably know here. Now this isn't a map of what it looked like. Let me show you a different map. This map shows the territory it had and the territory it claimed. In dark blue is the territory it had, and in light green is the territory it had. The way this worked was basically the Mexicans allowed American immigrants into this area under the exception that they must be Catholic. However, they didn't really like this, so they didn't be Catholic. And this made Mexicans very mad, so they kicked them out. However, they would not get out and proclaimed their own Texas country, which went on until they finally gained independence, although with these border disputes. Mexico would have been really mad if they joined the USA, so that's why they didn't at first, but then they did. And that started the entire Mexican-American War. Next is the Republic of the Rio Grande. Basically, this was a short-lived republic in 1940, which proclaimed independence somewhere in the first half of the year and ended by joining Mexico again later in November of the same year. Basically, they looked at Texas and said, hey, we should get independence too. Although they still had the dispute as they still were Mexican. And also, they felt mad with the central Mexican government at that time, led by Santa Anna. At this time, Mexico was a dictatorship. And that's mainly why Texans also wanted to get independence. And that's basically why people kept declaring war on them. Eventually, their armies fell, and this was basically a tantrum country, which basically declared independence just to get mad at the central government for not recognizing its power. Next is the Yucatan Republic. Now, this republic actually was two countries. The first republic was near the start of the Mexican Empire, where they gained independence for a short time just to be independent. They joined Mexico a few months later because they felt like it. The second Yucatan Republic is the one most people are familiar with. Just like the Rio Grandense Republic, they were very mad with the central government. So they decided to declare independence too, which happened shortly after the Rio Grande's annexation. But there was one difference. They were very strong. In fact, they were able to live for 7 years. However, they started getting, well, bad. And their economy just collapsed. And they requested Mexico help. And Mexico agreed on one condition. They joined Mexico. So they had no choice but to reunite with Mexico, ending the Second Yucatan Republic. Finally, we have this country, the Central American provinces. This is placed further back in time. Basically, Mexico, the first Mexican empire was large, very large, and included all of Central America excluding Panama. So, they owned all this land. However, people were getting kind of mad with this type of government, and so people started leaving. And so all these Central American provinces declared independence as a union. They made a ton of border agreements with the newly made Mexican Federation. And this basically made our current borders of Central America today. However, they had two civil wars. The first civil war was just a scratch, but the second civil war was enough to tear them apart. The 5 nations of the Republic, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, and El Salvador, started declaring independence from the Union one by one. El Salvador was the last nation in the Union, and it effectively declared independence too, so it kind of declared independence from itself, ending this union. And that's the video. Basically, Mexico had a ton of different countries that declared independence. And they could have made a large impact on history if they were still a thing today. A few joined the USA, a few were just tantrums, a few were serious, and a few lived and separated from Mexican history entirely. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe, and I will see you next time.